Hi, we have the great pleasure today to interview Holly Haustein. His musical name is Driftwood Holly. And I would like to introduce him shortly to all the people who might not know him. So, Holly, together with his wife Kirsten, is one of my favorite adventurers from Germany who has been living in the Yukon and Canada for 21 years now. Born and raised in Saxony in the former GDR, you have been a high-performance athlete in your youth, competing for the GDR as a ski jumper. After your sport career, you were drafted to the military as a guard on the wall, Berlin Wall. You saw the fall of the Berlin Wall firsthand, and you have told me many highly interesting stories about that time, but we will come to that later. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, you met your future wife, became a roofer by profession, and lived a traditional lifestyle until the two of you decided to explore the Yukon and finally moved to Dawson City in the Yukon. And that's where you are still living since then. Ever since then, I made my living as an adventurous musician, you said. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
You're welcome at the time.
Very good. So let's start with the questions that I have for you. The first question is, I think that interests everyone who is interested in adventures, is what made you leave Germany and exchange a secure future for an unsecure one in the Yukon, of all places, which can be hostile at times in the winter and is so far up north?
How do you know I had a secure future in Germany?
I always think that everyone in Germany has a secure future. Maybe that's a mistake. I don't know.
Well, in the old world I used to know from Germany, it was pretty predictable. If you worked hard, you had a good product, that you would do all right. But it was that predictability that drove me nuts, that you kind of seen your life 20 years ahead and you kind of could tell how it would look like, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And for an adventurer soul, this is difficult to deal with. So I needed more room to see who I am. And the Yukon is a good place, or it was the only place I really thought about when it came to going somewhere. I've been in a whole bunch of other countries before, about 35 other ones. And the North's got something where I think it brings out in you who you are, and then you either hate it or love it.
Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine living there. When I see all the pictures on your Facebook page, all the snow, and it's so cold, and you have to go everywhere with your ski-doo, right?
Or dogs.
Yeah, with dog sled.
Ski-doos a certain temperature and then they quit.
Okay, but you do have dogs and a dog sled, right?
Not right now, because we used to bring our kids to school with dogs for years, and we were fostering dog teams here. There was a lot of Yukon Quest mushers who had a lot of dogs, and when they trained theirs, there was always the B team, and then we took care of those, and that was our teams.
Okay.
Yeah. But now out of the house, so we don't go daily anymore. So yeah.
But that's something for a German completely incomprehensible to think about. Okay, you bring your kids to school with 6 or 8, I think it's 8 dogs, right? In front of your dog.
Yeah, took 6 because we're downhill. The school is downhill from here, and 6 is fast enough.
Yeah. And I guess
in the afternoon you have 4 dogs, because then it's uphill, you know. Yeah.
Okay, but I guess the kids loved it, right?
Well, partially they also want to ride one of these fancy yellow school buses one day.
Okay.
We're all cozy in there and listening to their iPods, while my kids have like hot rocks in the mittens that their fingers don't freeze.
Okay. Yeah, that's very different. Okay. So how did when you came to Canada, how did you adjust? How did your kids adjust? I mean, they were how old when you came?
They were not born.
They were not
They
born.
weren't even made.
Oh,
they were
okay.
Yukon made.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And then we it was both in the winter, and so we went to Germany to see the grandparents, and then we gave birth in Germany, and everybody had this great visit, and then we went home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How we adjusted was the question. Was that the question?
Yeah, yeah. Since your kids did not have to adjust, it's up to you, yeah. How did you?
Yeah, it was a little bit like after the wall came down, like every single aspect of life changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the temperature, the where things are, and what is there, and where you are, and how you get there, and if you're gonna get out of it again. So
Yeah.
there's all these where you had to really figure out what your skill set is, really,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then that dictated what was possible, adventure wise, where to live and how to, I love the rivers, and so I got a boat, and then we moved in the bush for a while, and I found my limitations there, what I like, how lonely do I want to be, or how lonely is good for a couple, and like, how much shit can you put in a boat before it sinks?
Okay, I guess you got that from experience.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Suck a
Okay.
couple, yeah.
So that leads me to another interesting question. I mean, what was the most dangerous thing that happened to you living in the Yukon? I guess there are quite a bit. So what was the most
Mm,
dangerous situation for you living up there?
for me,
Or for your family?
yeah. Well, there was a couple of hard ones where I thought, oh, if we don't get it together now, we're not going to get out.
Okay.
But just a panic attack. This is like, you still don't die. Then you just figure out how to get out of the situation. You just have to take more time.
Okay.
But what is always really dangerous is ice conditions here.
Okay.
And so we trained ourselves over the years to read ice,
Okay.
but the ice changing. And I was doing an art project which was called Evolia. I built a huge castle gate out of ice blocks,
Okay.
kind of raising awareness for the melting ice in the world.
Okay.
And to gather that ice, the Yukon brings two different colors of ice, the blue one and a gray one. And I wanted to build it with the blue one, and I knew a spot where that was. But and the whole family was with, and we went there, and I didn't know that that was a really dangerous place to be because the current underneath ate the ice away. You don't see it. It was like 30 below, but from the top it looked good.
That
And
was
there
on
was
a
a
river,
shelf.
yes. That
Say it
was
again?
that was on a river that you did that?
Yeah, on the
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Sure.
on the Yukon River.
Okay.
And one of these shelves fell through with one of my kits on
Okay.
and disappeared under the other ice.
Oh
And
God.
my kid started to walk backwards, and then when the end of the ice came, he kind of like grabbed the edge, and then we grabbed him and got him out.
Okay.
And that was a fully unpredicted situation where it took me almost like 3 seconds to realize what was going on. I was slow, and that was over so quick that later, like when the adrenaline kicks in and everything, that you notice what just happened. And it's the same as if your kid would run in front of a car, like it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, you're not prepared for this, and we're not like consciously put us in this position. But that's how you learn. Now I really avoid that place, and then later I heard stories about other people falling in there and like
Okay.
having a hell of a time just to get by there.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know about the spot. I was like I was too green, and I couldn't
Okay.
read it well, but nothing happened. But that was probably the most intense thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you get chased around by wildlife once in a while, but that is so far so good.
I mean, like bears, or which kind
Yeah, like moose cows too. Like moose cows up here can be vicious when you out hunting or even just traveling. If they don't like you, they come after you,
Oh, okay.
and they
Okay.
they compromise anything. They're like, and they're as fast as racehorses, you know. At least with a bear kind of like, you know, takes a little bit, but a moose just boing, and then she comes
Okay. I had
like
no.
an angry mother
Oh, yeah, probably. Okay.
at
So,
her duck.
okay. Yeah, moms, I think, are always the same, no matter where. So that makes sense. Um, so I have a few more questions here for you. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, how is life in the Yukon different from life in Germany? For everyone who
It's
thinks
not
about immigrating
there's
to
a lot.
the Yukon.
Sorry, I didn't hear the second one, but it's not less complicated than in any other country. I think if you want to have less problems, then don't come here.
Okay.
But it's more tailored to my character.
Mm-hmm.
Like my skill set is good. What I can do and what I'm not capable of kind of fits the Yukon better than Germany for me. You know, I was running a good company. We were grooving along, you know, but there was a lot of paperwork and a lot of to stay on top of all the time. You could never like kind of like take a break, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Germany doesn't take breaks
Mm-hmm.
really, and it's a characteristic I still try to move out of my head on a daily basis, but it's not. We can just like if we accomplish something, we have to instantly go on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
We forget celebrating what we just accomplished.
Okay.
So there's a little bit more about that here, you know, that you also live what you just built, you know,
Mhm.
like be in your house.
Yeah. And you built one house for you and your family, right? Yourself.
Now, right now, I'm building one further
Okay.
out in the bush because
Okay.
here it's a little too crowded now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
not really, but I have a place along the riverside and which I'm just building up right now. But this house you see here, like this little gem of the old gold rush, this is built in 1901, and I kind of rebuilt it back to its original um, condition.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, it looks very cozy. It does. But I mean, when you,
It is,
yeah, when you say
yeah.
that it fits your skill set. So would you say that, for example, a programmer or an IT specialist, that would not be a good fit for the Yukon, or?
Oh, you cannot say that. About 60 miles down the river, there's a British couple, and he is a marketing guru of some sort. Like he's marketing people,
Okay.
and they're also trappers. They're deeper in the bush than I am, and they have satellite phones. And they go to work there, and then they go and catch a rabbit.
Okay. So it totally depends on if you are a good handyman, for example. I think you have to be that, right? I mean, you have to,
It really helps.
yeah, I would think so. So I would be totally lost up there to make this gross. Yeah. But I think we
Yeah,
have determined that
you got
already.
stuff. You know, things break, and there's no spare parts, and things break on trips, on adventures. You gotta get yourself out of a tight spot, and if you're not good with your hands, when then it takes like double, twice as long.
Mm-hmm. Or it doesn't work at all if I would do it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
then we're still there
Yeah.
trying to get out of the tight spot.
So, she said something a few minutes ago about it was when you moved to Canada, it was like a little bit like the fall of the Berlin Wall. And as I said in the introduction, was you served as a military as a military guard at the Berlin Wall when the wall came down, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you were chosen because you were a high performance athlete in the GDR. And you told me that not everyone could do their military service at the wall because that was just too dangerous, or they were scared that you would escape or something like that. Is that true?
Well, you got to say that right order. I was not chosen to the wall because I was an athlete, but the East German military had a really good time taking like retired sports people to special places on the wall, because most of us had no Western relationships, because we tried to compete internationally. And that was, like if you had grandma living over there, they didn't want to send you there for a competition because they thought you would flee the country. So most of us didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like kind of politically pre-educated in a socialist kind of way. We were in German Democratic Republic sports systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were in top shape. So I met a lot of sports people on the wall again, but I also didn't choose to go there.
No.
You didn't know until you got there where you were going. Like,
Okay.
it's a very secret society about this stuff. And it was just a normal draft, and they told you where to go.
Okay. And how was that when the wall came down and you were there in that time? I mean, directly at the border. I mean, I think you have seen things that other people or don't know, have not seen, or don't know anything about, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that.
You could get into this than I was. You couldn't really get deeper into the situation than I was.
So
I mean, like when Gorbachev said his words to our amigo, that was a bit of a scary moment, because the Russians went home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the backup, kind of like feeling wise, as much as you can feel stuff like this as a 19-year-old person who've been put there in the melting pot of a political situation. So on the other side were the French and the British and the West Germans and the Americans, and on the other side was Holly.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bit strange, like, what are we going to do now, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was one of the most interesting situations I ever been in, because you don't understand actually what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
You get an order, and then you notice there's something wrong with that order, but you don't quite know what to do about it. And then when people started to take the wall down, we were still the ones under order. Everybody was chipping away what we were about to protect.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of personal decisions to be made. And I think, when the peaceful revolution in our country happened, which was the people revolution, there was also a lot of people in the East German army who are responsible that this was a peaceful revolution, because they didn't forward certain orders, and they didn't stick to some orders, and they did make other people not do stuff. So
you told me once that that this could have had a totally different outcome, and people could have been shot that night if they were not military people who really chose to not follow orders, or to just be human in that. And I mean, maybe
and they were risking their lives too.
Pardon me?
They were risking they were risking their lives doing this, to not follow these orders,
What kind of orders did you have in that time, or in that night?
Well, that particular night, I don't really remember. I might even been in jail. There was a day when everybody went to the Brandenburger Gate, and there was all these trucks standing there, and these trucks were full of soldiers ready to go. And it really, was breaking point. But I was not there, because I said I refused an order that day, and then I had to go be like talked to.
Okay.
And I had a couple of conversations with people I'd never seen again.
What did you refuse to do? What kind of order did you refuse to follow? So that
we had come before the shift. We had people come and preparing us for war.
Okay.
To shoot.
I couldn't say that. You to shoot who? Civilians.
Well, everybody who like walking towards the gate and trying to go to the west.
Yeah. Okay. And you said you're
Like
not,
our
and you said you're not going to do that. You're not going to obey the order. Okay. And that's why you were, yeah, taken out, kind of, in the.
yeah, go in the cellar and then you meet.
Okay, you're cutting out right now a little bit, and I can't hear everything you say. I hope that gets better.
Probably the Stasi interfering with our interview.
Yes. Like in old times, right? So what kind of, so do you personally know people who's, I mean, upper ranks in the military who said, okay, we're not going to do this. We're not going to shoot on people to make this a peaceful revolution. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What did they say afterwards or before? I mean, how did they feel?
Before?
Yeah, I mean, before all the people came and they had the order to shoot. I mean, what did they think about that?
Some of them really believed in socialism, you know. Their heart was broken. There were some really good guys who believed in socialism in that army too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were not the ones who screwed it all up. So, but in these cases, they bring in other soldiers who are not in the normal border guard system. You know, we didn't know these people coming in, and they were hot. They were ready to go,
Okay.
and they need to calm down. And this is what these people do. They did calm these soldiers down, not to fight.
Okay. So all the ones who you told us who were in the buses who they were taken to the border, those were the new soldiers who really wanted to fight.
The special soldiers that were trained for that event.
Okay. Okay. And it could have had a totally different outcome if those people would have succeeded with it.
Anybody the nerves on this, you know, like we had like in between, like in the times when the wall was still up, there was sand in front of the wall on our side, and there was not a footprint on it.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't go. It was where he got shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the first holes appeared in the Berlin Wall, I remember a kid sneaking through one day.
Okay.
And it came to our side, and then it stood on that sand.
Okay.
And then the alarms go up, and then everybody is loading guns and stuff. And so I had to put my gun down and walk over that sand where I am not supposed to be at all.
Mm-hmm.
And took the little thing and shoved it back through the wall.
Okay.
And his father was there too. He just stuck his head back, and I could speak a bit of English, and he said he was a soldier from the other side. He wanted to see the wall falling, and his kid just got away on him and then disappeared in that little hole.
Okay.
But he knew exactly in what danger the kid was. And
okay.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't imagine. I mean, I was living in West Germany that time. I mean, I'm from West Germany still, but I was living right at the border on the west side. And I mean, I can vividly remember when I was a child and we were going for walks along the border, and there were all the guards on the other side, and we were waving and I don't know, and we were always expecting as children, of course, that they would wave back and shout hello or whatever, but they never did. And I think they would have been in big trouble if they did, right?
Oh, well. Yeah. The conversations through the wall, you know,
that would have
like I had a great dog too. We had like really good dogs there, and the Western Berlin police or whatever that was, they had dogs too. So the dogs would find each other first, you know.
Okay.
And then there was where the wall actually was a fence.
Mm-hmm.
You could see.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
There was places where you could meet and just, you know, I let the dogs have a little sniff, and then, how are you doing today? But you're not supposed to. But like, and I was there at the end of the Berlin Wall. There were so many different orders been coming in every day. Everything was out of control at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, I still know that day when they opened the wall, and all these people came down this highway that led before between Germany to the GDR, and that was closed with a fence because, I mean, there was the border, right?
Yeah.
And now that was opened, and all these people, thousands of people from the GDR were coming down, and there were thousands of West Germans standing on the side of the road, and we were, I mean, cheering, and everyone, people getting out of their cars and, I don't know, hugging each other, strangers, and it was an absolutely amazing day. And I mean, that was just for me, and I have not been observing at the border, so that was, I can't imagine how that
For us, it was definitely not that amazing, because we had the high-ranking guys like got really scared, you know, and they got irrational, and we still had to follow orders we didn't understand, and it was a horrible situation to be in as a 19-year-old. What do you know? You know nothing. The whole world goes crazy, and then they turn the cameras on you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that it all went peaceful and nobody had to hurt anybody wherever I was. We're always lucky, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We had people bringing us schnapps and stuff through the wall, and like we're like, okay, let's just fucking keep calm down here.
Yeah.
Because there was like no newspapers, no TV. Like they kept us really under the rug, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we have I saw some interesting documentaries lately, and we are going to put them on our Facebook page in the near future. So they interviewed some of the high-ranking military guys.
I just found it. I just want to show you this. This is a letter I just found in an envelope here. I wrote this from one of the shifts on the wall to my parents.
Okay.
And it ends with like 439 days. And you always counting your days backwards.
Yeah.
How long you're drafting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that 439 days to go, but it never happened. Like everything fell faster than, you know, like, and then we were charged. Yeah.
Okay, and then you could go. You could leave.
Yeah, a year and a half. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's come to something different. You're now a musician, and I mean, we want to know how musicians and artists right now are doing, and I mean, how, especially when you're so far away in the north, how are you doing right now in COVID-19 times?
I don't even know anymore.
I
don't even know. All the markets we had where we brought our products to are closed or have disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think people are musicians right now. They're just home trying to figure out what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a bit of a following in Germany, and so we stick together and entertain each other, and they try to carry me through this, and I try to be their medicine man. And
I mean, you have a huge fan base in Germany, and you're touring through Germany each year, and you are always playing in booked halls, right? So it's not as if you're just having 100 followers there. So that's a little bit of an underestimation, I would say. But, but you can't play in open concert halls anymore. And you had to cancel your tour to Germany, right? This year.
It's just not, normally I would be over there playing like 30, 40 gigs right now and entertain a lot of people and come up with new stuff. And it's like, as an artist, it's not just an outlet, you also take new stuff in to process. So there's a part missing right now, which is hard to deal with if you create things, you know.
So does that mean you right now you're not really writing new music?
New music, it's hard to speak.
Yeah.
I'm working on things. I'm working on things. Like I said, I'm a bit of a lucky guy because I started live streaming before COVID. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like because my music comes from adventures. My music is also performed in really adventurous locations. So I'm used to this, and I think it just morphed into, you know, back in the days, somebody would make an album, you would wait, if you like it, you would buy it. That's past.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does that anymore because I can't whip up $15,000 now to make an album, and then you might buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So turn this around now. If you like me, you're going to support me with a monthly payment, and then I go and freely create, and then I can give it to you freely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want to live an artistic life,
Mm-hmm.
and that some of my followers are tapping into this now and supporting me monthly, and then I feel I can get in that free creation realm, and then I get good.
Vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also, I mean, you also have a weekly concert, right? On Fridays?
Yeah.
Happy hour on at 12 o'clock Yukon time zone, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's
And it's
on your
in
Facebook
German.
page, right?
Yeah, it's always Facebook and Instagram advertised.
Okay. And one more question. For Christmas, you had a great idea, and I love that idea, and I'm going to use that, is to have a one-on-one concert that people can book and can give to one of their friends, dads, moms, whatever. So you are playing custom, I mean, tailored to the guest, what they would like to hear, and it's just for them, and it's online streamed. So that's a great idea. I love it. So and at the
Yeah.
end,
There,
one,
there's two.
yeah, what?
Yeah. There's two one-on-one concert
Yeah.
types.
Okay.
One are the Nano Concerts, which is one song.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one-on-ones, and they can be up to an hour long.
Okay.
It's a very intimate concert setting. I played about 50 of those already, the bigger ones, and then countless small ones.
Mm-hmm.
Very intimate concert, one-to-one. There's nobody else watching, so it's just like, you know, be you and me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for a very intense experience on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, I have one question about your music. Um, I could understand your music much better after I have seen the movie Gunderman.
Huh?
Gunderman has not. I didn't know Gunderman. I mean, I knew Silly and all these kind of big bands from the GDR, but I had never heard of Gunderman before. But when I heard his songs in that movie, finally I completely understood where your music tradition comes from. And it does have that tradition, right? To be very
Absolutely.
honest and be very, very authentic in your texts and in your music. And it's not about, I don't know, it's not like listening to Madonna or whatever, where everything is about marketing, about impressing people or having a certain image. It's very different from that because I think the most important thing is to be authentic and to tell a story and to communicate with your guests and to create a connection. And I think that is very different from what we mostly see in music these days. Don't you think?
I think so too. Yeah. I think so too. But I don't really like, I have an image too,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, I can't lie to you in a song. Like I can't sing anything to you where I think, oh, this is like, I'm singing this to get this from you, you know, like life is rough and life is surprising. And I think my music also stands for, you know, to be weak sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to be the jolly songwriter all the time who sings like, wow, the flowers are awesome. No, they're not. You know, everybody's struggling. time to time, but I'm also really advocating not to forget to celebrate, you know, because we're like, I mean, look at us, we've got it so good. So don't forget to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you are nice enough to play one of your one-on-one concerts for us. And I chose my favorite song from you, that is Der König. And we are going to hear that now.
I prepared a completely different song for this. So I could probably say more, I'm going to try this one.
Okay.
And, but it's based on a German legend about my hometown, that the king came through there and had a conversation with a farmer. And when I listened to people telling the legend, I thought it must have been a really shitty job to be king, you know, like you didn't just become king because you wanted to, you were chosen if you wanted or not.
Okay.
Like going to the war, you know, like you go. And then you were somebody you probably didn't love much because there was a war in the air or something, you know. And then nobody liked you because all they wanted to be king, but you were king.
Okay.
And you were beating on the farmers, and you didn't like that about yourself. Like being king is not a good thing. So if anybody offers you to become king, don't do it.
Okay.
Ich bin ein König, aber König ist recht wenig. Meine Kutsche scheint im Licht und trotzdem lieben sie mich nicht. Ihren König. Manchmal nachts zieh ich mich an, wie ein alter Bettelmann. Und im Dunkeln schenken Licht, da kennen sie mich nicht. Dann lebe ich in Saus und Braus und flieg mit lauter Weibern raus. Ich bin ein König, aber König ist recht wenig. Mir gehört das ganze Land. Und ich bleib ein Bettelmann bei dem Alten dort im Wald, dem ich die Hirsche abgeknallt. Der hatte Licht in seinem Blick und hat mich einfach weggeschickt. Seinen König. So ein König ist recht wenig. Meine Kutsche scheint im Licht. Und trotzdem lieben sie mich nicht. Ich bin dein König.
Sehr schön, vielen Dank. Das war ein sehr schöner Abschluss für unser Gespräch. Und du hast mir noch versprochen, dass du zeigst, wie es bei euch draußen aussieht, weil es so schön ist mit dem ganzen Schnee. Wir haben hier glücklicherweise noch keinen. Oh, and I switched to English now because, yeah, you promised me to show, I completely forgot, I'm sorry. You promised me to show how it's looking outside right now in the UK. because you have
Yeah.
snow and we don't, and I'm very happy about that, and I hope it stays like that. But
I'm very sorry that you don't have snow. You wouldn't see all your dirt.
that's right. One positive thing about it.
So this is the view out of the window. This is where the sun does not come up these days anymore because we're too far north, but that's how it looks.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is nice. Very beautiful.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna take you really outside where my dog is doing its thing. Thanks for interviewing me. You did well.
Thank you very much. You too. And it was a pleasure talking to you as always. Oh, there's Ruby. Oh, gorgeous. She obviously likes the snow. I've never seen a dog with so much fur. She is warm, I guess.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh yeah. It's not cold today anyway.
Okay, if you say so. Obviously, we think differently
We
about
have a heat wave.
Hmm?
We have a heat wave. It's about -10 or something.
Oh, okay, great. Enjoy that heat wave as long as it takes. Okay, Holly. So thank you so much for taking the time for this interview.
Yeah.
And I wish you Merry Christmas already and a Happy New Year if we don't talk beforehand, okay?
Yeah, and say everybody should go to the Holly Happy Hours
Yes.
and listen. If you like it, donate to your favorite artist.
Yeah.
If that's not, donate to another artist you like, but help them right now because they need you. Yeah. And you need them.
Yes, absolutely, we do. So we will do that, and I'll see you hopefully soon, okay? Bye.
See you.
Bye.